Why you dressed like that?
Costumes tell you who the characters are. Color plays a large part in it, but you can't just judge a book by its cover because it all tells a story. My name is Jonetta Boone, and I'm the costume designer in Yellowstone.
Yeah, I'm dressed in the car.
I'm responsible for dressing not just the entire cast on the show, but also for dressing basically everyone who's in clothes, from uniforms to civilian wear to Western wear, just everything. I went to Performing Arts High School in DC and I never thought that this would ever become a career for myself. At the time, it was only Los Angeles in the 70s that was producing films.
I hate that place.
Once I left the DC area and went to New York to go to college, I went to FIT and studied both fashion design and merchandising. I actually ended up working as an assistant fashion stylist and shifted over into both film and television. Ruth Carter, who did season 1, actually worked together in the 90s. I was a costume supervisor on a TV show that she did, and I took lots of notes. Everyone has a color palette that they sort of live inside of. JD or John Dutton, and then Beth, and then Casey, and then I sort of went from there. The closets were quite established already, so I was able to pull from that. It's really important also for the cast and the characters to continue the story. It was more important for me to do that rather than to start from scratch.
I don't know where to start.
Well, I must say, iconically, the JD jacket was the first thing that popped, which is the taupe with the rust Western yoke. It was perfect. It fit in perfectly, and then I was able to build his additional costumes from there. He also has designers that he wears that are very specific, even in jeans, because they fit well, and that's what you want to go with, is when it fits, you don't want to break what's not broken.
True words were never spoken.
The very first thing that I do when I get a script is I read it more than once, because as you know, when you read something one time, you may skip over some very fine details. So I read it twice, sometimes 3 times, just to get what Taylor Sheridan, who's our creator, is communicating. And in this particular case, it's all very pictorial when he puts it on the page.
That paints quite a picture.
If you're paying enough attention, it'll jump right out at you and describe with an underlying description what the palette is. And then I will go in and break down how many days there are in the script. And then that's what determines how many changes the character will have. Sometimes they have more than one change during the day, depending on what it is that they're doing. So for instance, the cowboys, when they're out working during the day, they're in one costume, but then they may shower and change and be in something different for the evening. And then once I go beyond the continuity and the breaking down of the script, then I start to really get into the nuts and bolts of how to build the costume.
She's perfect. Trust me. All right.
Everyone has a list of goals. So my bucket list of goals for doing shows was to do a Western. Most Westerns are period, and this one was contemporary, so it was perfect. I was so excited.